Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I will be doing a full maintenance on my Discus tank. So like cleaning the filter, canister filter, wiping down the glass, and just the regular water change things. So stay tuned. So if you watched one of my previous videos, I used to drain water automatically, and then the system would just flow everything into the toilet. I don't do that anymore because there was this one day my dog actually knocked the tube over, and then it pretty much flooded my main floor. So now what I do is I use a good old tube and a bucket. So I take out about 4 buckets first, and then I proceed to siphoning the sand. So, I've sucked out a reasonable amount of water, and so now I'm going to siphon the sand. And I just use the basic siphon find in fish store. It's very simple. There's a pump, there's a tube, there's this kind of intake thing that's wider than the tube. So what I siphon for is all the poo, pretty much. Also, I try to make the sand look a little whiter than it actually is. It's a lot browner in real life than on camera right now, actually. So I'm gonna go siphon everything real quick. Okay, so now that I am done siphoning, I'm going to use this little scrubby thing I bought a while back. I'm just gonna try to wipe all the accessible surfaces of the glass. So like the front and the sides. The back I mostly leave the algae on so that the pleco I have in there has nothing to eat. But there's like these random little like specks of I think it's some sort of algae, but I'm not sure. It's brown, so it's probably diatoms. Some of it's pinkish. But what I do is I just go and scrub all the areas of the glass that aren't exactly easy to see through, which means it's not clean. And there's algae on it, so most of it is at the bottom because during my daily maintenance I don't get the bottom as well when I'm scrubbing. I don't get the bottom side as much as the rest of the tank. So I the back of the glass is usually a lot cleaner because the bristle nose takes care of it, but right now it's not looking too good, so I'll probably scrub that as well. Can't really see it on the camera, but there are tons of like, well, you kind of can. There are like little specks of algae right here that I'm gonna get rid of. See, I can't really reach in between the sponge filters without breaking the connection of the airline tubing, so I'm gonna be careful with that. I'm gonna do the other side now. Just the back over here. So, just makes the tank a lot nicer to look at. Yeah, so there we go. I finished scrubbing the tank, and the glass is a lot cleaner. Water is a little murky right now because that's probably where all the stuff I just scrubbed off went to. So the next thing to do is to clean the filter. So this is the filter I use. It's the Fluval 406 filter. So cleaning it is a bit of a hassle simply because I think I cut the tubing a little too exact. But I'll quickly show you how I go about doing it. First things first, I have to unplug it. So my plug is in the back. I think you heard that slam, that was me pulling it out. But now what I do is I make sure this lever here is all the way up, because that stops the water from flowing into the filter. This red hatch here, flip up. And usually there's a few drips of water, like that, and that's what the blue towel down there is for. So I'm just gonna pull this out. Get the plug as well. So this thing's full of water as well. So it's quite heavy, I guess you could say. So let me just move this up a little. Okay, I'm gonna go quickly grab a bunch of towels because that's what I usually use. So here I have some towels. I'm just gonna line the floor with them. And because everything in this filter comes in little baskets, what I usually do is I lay the things down on these towels so that later I don't have to spend as much time mopping up the floor. So I will, first thing I do is empty the water in the filter into this bucket. So opening the filter is relatively simple. This hatch here you open from the top, and then there's one on the side, and these are basically little hooks. And what I do is I actually put my legs around it and I pull to get the seal off. So there's a little water splashed out. Empty this first. So the rest of the water, I lay this on a blue towel. So here's the top. The first box. The sponge, so I'll squeeze that out. And that goes on the towel. Second box is ceramic ring. third box is more ceramic rings. And my last box is a sponge. And the 406 filters also have this, I don't know, extra spongy thing. There's 4 sponges in here, so I'll just sort of drain this out. And that will go there as well. And then they can just empty the filter. So, the water in there is relatively dirty already, but I'll move over here. Once I start cleaning these sponges, it gets nastier and nastier. So when you're cleaning your filter, you always want to use water from the aquarium so that there's no chlorine that will potentially kill your beneficial bacteria. Here's a sponge. Just gonna dip it in there and squeeze it around. And I clean my filter approximately once every 2 weeks. So a good amount of crap builds up in there. And I just keep going until I can't really see anything coming out. So if you want to look at this versus one that hasn't been cleaned, that's the difference. So I just lay that on the towel there when it's done, and I'll move to the next one. And then just wring out all that fish poo, uneaten food, algae, I don't know, whatever's in there, into here. And when the water gets around like this murky brown color that you can't see through, see, the sponge isn't as clean as it probably could be. So I'm gonna go dump out this water real quick and refill it with some new water. So here's a new bucket of water, and the sponge that was supposedly clean in the other water, if you look at this, I don't know how well it's showing with the camera, but there's quite a bit of stuff coming out. So when you're cleaning the sponge in your filters, it's important to make sure that the water you're cleaning it in is clean. There you go. So these two are done. There's also the back side of the red thing. Here's 2 more. So you can speed things up as well just by like stacking them like this. You don't want to be too rough with these in case you rip the sponge, but that shouldn't be a problem if you're not like really tugging on it. I haven't ripped one yet, and I don't plan on ripping them in the future. So this side is a little cleaner. As you can tell, the water's not changing as fast. So those are good. And I don't use that much water. I fill my bucket approximately a quarter of the way. I think this bucket is actually like maybe 4 gallons. I don't actually know. So yeah, sponges are clean, but this red thing is still pretty dirty as well. So I just kind of like rinse it in the water as best as I can, just to wipe that dirty stuff off. That's what one of these towels is for. I'll grab it real quick. See, it's already soaking wet, so you just wipe down the filter. And you see there's a lot of brown stuff on it. It's probably algae. Just give it a good thorough wipe. A lot of crevices that keep the sponge in place that can collect dirty things, so just want to make sure those are clean. Because it's important to keep your canister filter clean, simply because it's external. So if something gets trapped in there, it could possibly just become like this nitrate factory that just ruins your water quality. And having Discus, water quality is quite important. So I'm just going to stuff these sponges. Stuff them back into this red thing here. Cleaning the little compartments here are a lot simpler because ceramic rings take like 2 seconds. So it's good to fit these snug as well, just in case something wonky happens inside the filter. You can see though, these sponges are, there's a shadow, a lot cleaner than when I took them out. So this water's got to go. So the next step is cleaning those little boxes over there. And I always like to start with the ceramic rings, which are in the middle. Simply because they're fast. You dunk it in the water, you pull it up, kind of like swash them around a little, get them nice and rinsed. And that's pretty much all I do in terms of these ceramic rings. So those are done. It's these black sponges that, like those other white sponges, here. They're filthy most of the time. If you squeeze them in the water. Well, I guess this time it's not too bad. But this is probably because this is the bottom one. But these sponges are usually very, very dirty. So that's okay. Let's check these ones. And when you're squeezing it, you can kind of feel that they're dirty too. There's like slimy, gunky feeling to them. There we go. Yeah, these feel awfully weird. There we go. So this cloth I used earlier to wipe down the red thing, I like to wipe down the inside of the filter as well, simply because, well, there's crevices for things to get trapped in, and I don't want dirty things in the filter. Like I said earlier, it could be a nitrate factory if not cleaned well. There we go. So reassembling this is very simple, but there's a few things I like to do first. Because I'm not done the water change yet, I want to fill this up about halfway, and that's simply because I don't want the filter media to sit dry. If it sits dry, there's a chance that beneficial bacteria may die, and that is no good. So I'm just filling it up with water right now. Just enough so that you can have the little boxes inside and most of the red sponge submerged. So, sponge goes in, ceramic rings, and other ceramic rings, and other sponge, and this red sponge. So it's definitely not soaking wet, but I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of water. right up to like about here. You can't really see it on the camera actually, so yeah. Next up, put this thing on, you know, and then pretty much done. This goes back on. Just make sure it's the right way. And that is a clean filter. So next step is just putting it back. So putting the filter back in is extremely simple. You just sort of shove it back in to where it was before. This thing I put on top, and I just kind of mosey it on in. There we go. To re-secure the things, you just kind of shove this down, so that's in place. And then if it's in place, the red latch puts it back. Do not flip this lever. If you flip this lever, water will come spilling in. This, let me try to focus on it. This plug. Make sure it's dry before you plug it in. You don't want to blow any circuits, so I just like to wipe it down with like my shirt or like a paper towel. And then I have this little hole back here, so I just throw it there for now. Okay. So, next thing I want to do is I check up on my plants. So, I want to make sure that I clip off maybe any dying leaves, or maybe any like leaves that aren't doing too well that I don't want, or if it's just like some maintenance things, getting rid of let me close this. Getting rid of some leaves that aren't in spots that I really want them to be in. So mostly today, apart from all this diatom algae everywhere, my leaves are pretty okay, so not really going to be trimming that. I'm going to suck a few more buckets of water out of the tank, and then I guess I'll fill it back up. So, to refill the tank, I actually have this kind of sketchy little mechanism. This tube here, it runs into my sink, and then because I live in Canada, I get a lot of micro bubbles, so I use this PVC pipe with this microfiber cloth that I rubber band the end to, and that removes about 90% of the micro bubbles that come out of my water source. So I just take an elastic band, boom, go around. This goes here, and I have this little red clip I clip on into the tank. So now I add some prime to dechlorinate the water as it's going in. Here you go. Maybe 2 caps. Oops, that's a little more, but that's alright. And then I just go to the sink and crank the water. Be right back. And you guys can watch the water slowly fill. So there we go. I'm done the water change. Time to plug in the filter and the heater. So there goes the heater, and the filter is next. Probably hear that. So now that little lever that stops the water flow, I'm going to flip it down.
And since there's water in the filter, you
can hear it pumping out the water. And there's some crap that was inside the tube, I guess. So it should balance itself out in a sec. Close that in case something flies. But while that's happening, I guess I will give Discus a meal. Oh, there we go. See that? All those bubbles coming out. Yeah. That's the filter filling up with water. Anyways, so now I'm just gonna give these Discus a little snack as a sort of thanks for being so patient. Because they didn't really fuss a lot when I was doing water change. Usually, if I don't feed them before I do the water change, they'll just like nip at my hand when I'm sucking on water. So. There you go. They can enjoy that little snack. So, thank you for watching my video, and don't forget to leave a like, and feel free to leave a comment. I want to know what you think about my videos. Thanks for watching.